where you ask somebody else, you know, I know you're doing very well in your career. I know you have really grown in your company, et cetera, et cetera. Any feedback and thoughts and ideas that you might have on this, and I appreciate that greatly. And literally, all of a sudden, one thing leads to another. Let the other person talk about themselves first, and then you start to talk about yourself. And I'll teach you how to do, how you will present yourself in what we call the 30-second commercial. But let me also kind of paint another picture for you, if I may. You see, many of you probably go out for coffee every morning. You go stop at Starbucks and you wait in line, or you go to Dunkin' Donuts and you wait in line, and you see a lot of the same people. And literally, you never say anything but good morning to them. You never really seize the opportunity to say, well, tell me about yourself. You know, here we stand in line every day, and I always see you, and I know what kind of coffee you get, but I don't know anything about you. Tell me, what do you do? Can I ask you, what is your background? What's your field? And oftentimes people will tell you a little bit about what they do, and what are they going to do in return? That's right, exactly. They are going to say, tell me, what do you do? What about you? What's your background? And therefore, then you lead right into what we call this 30-second commercial. 30-second commercial is like what we call an elevator speech. You've probably heard those terminologies before. It's a verbal way of being able to put yourself in a quick perspective from what we call the aerial view. Not a nutshell, not very specific achievements and accomplishments, but what we're talking about here is just what's your professional background. How many years, for example, you've been in housing? How many years have you focused as a broker, right? You said you're a broker, so how many years have you been a broker? And literally, how many years, for example, have you now, I think you said something about working on foreclosures, and I know that's not easy work, but what's your area of expertise in foreclosures? So little snippets of information about those things. If you pride yourself on customer service, then I'd ask you to focus it on customer service as well. Whatever is important, the most important aspects of selling yourself in this little snippet of information, that's what you do in the 30 seconds. Then you let them ask you for more information. Tell me, that's fascinating. Tell me more. And that's the beginning of getting your elevator speech down pat. And I promise you, once you have that, you will feel so secure, so much more secure and confident in talking about yourself and getting your message out there. Okay, so the biggest thing about this whole thing is realizing that you are marketing yourself. You've got to get your message out there. Nobody knows you want their help unless, again, you typically start the contact, you start the communication, you start that flow. And once you do, and once you start getting this out there, it's unbelievable. It is literally, the power of it is unsurmountable. Let me show you something else that you can take this to and what you can do with networking. It's called the informational interview. And you see, many of you you know you don't want to ask for a job because that's not what networking is. But you want to know more. You want to find out more. You want to ask, you know, what does your company do? What is your industry all about? Tell me a little bit about your career path and how have you led, you know, what has led to your success? And you're afraid to do that. You're afraid to start asking those questions. Well, it's called asking for what's called an informational interview. As you can see here, it is literally, it's the best way to get a job is to ask for job information, advice, and referrals, but never ask for a job. When you talk to this person, whether they are somebody you know, kind of on a nonchalant basis, or they're a friend of yours, or they're actually somebody you really don't know very well, but you kind of got connected to them through somebody and you'd like to just talk to them as they're the project manager over this big engineering project that's going on, and you'd like to know more about that field, you ask for what's called an informational interview. And it truly is a networking opportunity. It's so powerful and people don't know to use this. It's engaging in the 5 R's. And as you can see here, they will reveal useful information and advice to you. That's very keynote. They will refer you to others typically. They'll review your resume, they'll revise your resume with you, and then they'll remember you for any future opportunities, or even to the point that they may create a job for you. So literally, it's very common that somebody thinks that the company doesn't have any opportunities, but once they find out about you and your skill sets, they want to create a job for you. So what we're going to do is we're going to break down in little groups now, and we're going to make sure that we kind of sit down and individually write all the different things that we think we'd like to put in 30-second commercial.